Hello, and welcome to the season finale of Inside the Inferno. I'm Johan Lopez, once again sharing the desk for the very last time with Kendall Flynn as she is graduating and moving on to bigger and better things. Kendall, this is your last show. What has been your favorite memory during your time with Inferno Intel? What we got going on this special holiday edition episode?
You know, I have so many memories from Inferno, but I have to say anytime I've been a part of Inside the Inferno in the studio has been my favorite. And it's a pleasure to share the desk with you one more time, Johan. And we have a lot to cover today before the holidays start. As Arizona State athletics wrap up the fall sports season soon, many sports have the chance to come out on top. With ASU football in the Big 12 championship and volleyball in the NCAA tournament, there's a lot to discuss today.
That's right, Kendall. It was rivalry week last weekend. The only thing that was standing in the way of the ASU football team playing in the Big 12 championship was the same team that came to Mount America Stadium last year and hung 59 points on them, the U of A Wildcats. Andrew Neerum is here to recap the Territorial Cup.
Thanks, guys. The Territorial Cup returned home to Tempe last week after Arizona State dominated the University of Arizona 49-7. U of A was looking to play spoiler to ASU's Big 12 title hopes and knock them out of the championship game. However, Cam Scadaboo and company had other plans. The Sun Devils got the ball first and didn't waste a second. The first half saw a Jordan Tyson and a Shimon Mateer touchdown, as well as a hat trick by Cam Scadaboo as ASU led 35-0 going into halftime. Despite the Wildcats answering with a touchdown out of the break, Arizona State cleanly won the game. Jordan Tyson did go down late in the third quarter with a shoulder injury, but it feels nice to have the Territorial Cup back in Tempe after last year's 36-point loss to the Arizona Wildcats. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Andrew. After the Territorial Cup win, the Sun Devils waited a couple more hours to find out who their opponent would be in the Big 12 championship. Once Iowa State beat Kansas State, BYU was knocked out of the championship, but the Cougars' win over Houston cemented Iowa State against ASU in the championship. Our Sammy Caleb has everything you need to know about this Saturday's game.
Thanks, guys. Tempe and the rest of the Valley are on fire right now. ASU football has defied all the odds and made it to the Big 12 championship game. They will head down to the Lone Star State tomorrow to take on Iowa State. Both Arizona State and Iowa State are 10-2 this season as they battle for a spot in the playoffs. The Sun Devils will play without their star wide receiver Jordan Tyson as head coach Kenny Dillingham confirmed that he will miss the rest of the season with a shoulder injury. Tyson injured his shoulder last Saturday in Tucson against Arizona. The Maroon and Gold, however, will have quarterback Sam Levitt and running back Cam Scadaboo in the backfield for their biggest game of the year. According to the forecast, there is an 80% chance of rain in Dallas on Saturday. Luckily, the game is indoors, which means that ASU won't have to play in unfamiliar weather. The Sun Devils also received the most honorees from Big 12 first and second teams, and Coach Dillingham was named the Big 12 Coach of the Year. This comes after ASU was predicted to finish last in the Big 12 this year. Now they're in for quite the rodeo at AT&T Stadium. Back to you guys.
ASU football is not the only team that is on fire right now, or maybe I should say icy. The Sun Devil hockey team went to the house of the #1 ranked team in the nation, the then undefeated University of Denver, and let's just say ASU made some noise and defied some odds. Our Mason McKenzie has more.
Sun Devil hockey took on unanimous #1 ranked Denver in their 2-game road series 2 weeks ago. On Friday's contest, third-line forward Artem Schlane wasted no time opening the scoring just 35 seconds into the game, giving the Sun Devils the early lead. Heading into the third period, Arizona State held a 2-1 advantage. However, Denver's Carter King was not going down without a battle and scored his second goal of the night with 5 minutes remaining, tying the game 2-2 and upping the intensity. With just 45 seconds left in regulation, Schlane went back to work, scoring his second goal of the game to secure the upset with a 3-2 victory for the Sun Devils. Arizona State's win ended Denver's impressive 21-game winning streak. In Saturday's matchup, ASU continued to perform with Schlane recording yet another 2-goal game. The Sun Devils put up a great defensive effort by holding Denver to under 10 shots in both the first and second periods. Ultimately, the Sun Devils would finish strong with a 5-2 win, completing the sweep over the top-ranked Pioneers. ASU will now get set to head into its weekend series against Minnesota Duluth Bulldogs. I'll pass it back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Mason. ASU volleyball has had quite the successful season this year with a current record of 29-2. With such a profitable season and strong players, the Sun Devils will head into the NCAA tournament tonight against New Hampshire. Our Tyler Warrego has the latest update on ASU volleyball.
Arizona State was named the 3rd seed in the lower right regional NCAA volleyball tournament. And they're going to host the the first and second rounds right here in Tempe at Desert Financial Arena. This Friday, they're going to be taking on the New Hampshire Wildcats in the first round at 6:30 on Friday at Desert Financial Arena. The Sun Devils of volleyball walked into the Athletic Center in Tempe at 4 o'clock to find out where they were being placed in the NCAA volleyball tournament. Later in the selection show, Arizona State was finally chosen an opponent, and that being the New Hampshire Wildcats. Winner of that first round is going to go on to the second round to play winner of the Colorado State versus Texas A&M match.
Such a great opportunity for not just this team, but for ASU as a whole, and for all the future teams that come here, all the recruits, just every route down, to be able to see how amazing Tampa is and how great our student body is and the amount of sports that we.
They're good teams and they got physical players. UCF had a couple of hammers, over there, and their middle was huge, and so it's great prep because we know at some point we can play, these big players. So I just think every team in the Big 12 has a lot of quality players, and obviously not they can't all make the tournament, but any match you go into, you're gonna lose if you're not on your game.
Overall, the Sun Devils head into this tournament with some hope after sweeping the UCF Knights during their last regular season game. Tyler Wargo in Tempe, Inferno Winto, signing out.
With ASU volleyball having an amazing debut season in the Big 12, several Sun Devils are earning well-deserved recognition and taking home some Big 12 honors. John Kinney is here in studio. Tell us more.
Thanks, Johan. The Sun Devil volleyball team picked up several Big 12 volleyball awards for 2024, starting with head coach J.J. Van Nel being named the 2024 Big 12 Coach of the Year. Graduate student Mary Schroll was named the Big 12 Libero of the Year, and graduate student Argentina Ung was named the Big 12 Setter of the Year. Arizona State also had several players make the all Big 12 first team, which included senior outside hitter Jelly Sear, graduate middle blocker Claire Jeter, and graduate libero Mary Schroll, and graduate setter Argentina Ung. The Sun Devils also had graduate middle blocker Savannah Colheed named to the all Big 12 second team. Back to you, Kendall.
Thanks, John. Arizona State men's basketball spent its Thanksgiving weekend in Palm Springs, California for the Acrisure Classic, and it proved to be a successful road trip as the Sun Devils won both of their games. Army Harrison Hassan has the details of the Classic.
Thanks, Kendall. Southern California has always been a common road trip for ASU over the years, with USC and UCLA in Los Angeles. But there's only one trip to California this season, and it was to Palm Springs for the Acrisure Classic. The Maroon and Gold gobbled up the competition, beating New Mexico 85-82 on Thanksgiving, and then St. Mary's 68-64 on Black Friday. Head coach Bobby Hurley said that both games felt like March on the court, and he's glad that his players have now felt what it's like to be a champion. Freshman Jason Sandin was named MVP with 38 points across the weekend. Senior BJ Freeman followed with 27. After a busy November, the Sun Devils have only 3 games this month. Their next contest against number 13 Florida, not until December 14th. A lot of rest and a lot of time to regroup. Guys.
Now on to ASU women's basketball, where they traveled to Nashville, Tennessee last week to play in the Coast to Coast Music City Classic, where they went 1-1, conceding their third loss to the ranked number 14 Kentucky Wildcats on Tuesday night with a score of 77-61. In the second quarter, the Wildcats outscored the Sun Devils 27-9, and that was the difference of the game. Junior guard Jalen Brown led the scoring for the Sun Devils with 16 points, and graduate guard Ty Skinner had a game to forget as she went 3 of 19 from the field, finishing with 8 points, her lowest point total of the season. On the bright side for ASU, though, they held their own against Kentucky in the second half, outscoring the Wildcats by 3 and limiting them to only 30% from the field in the second half after the Wildcats shot 70% in the second quarter run. The very next day, Arizona State won a high-scoring game against the University of South Dakota with a score of 95-88. The Sun Devils' backcourt went off as Skinner had a bounce-back game, scoring 20 points, along with Brown's 19 points. But the surprise leading scorer coming off the bench, Nevaeh Parkinson, finished with 26 points. All in all, a productive tournament for the Sun Devils as they took on 2 very good teams and held their own against both. And with that is going to be a wrap for this episode, for the semester. Thank you so much to you, the viewers, for supporting us all semester long. It's been a fun ride. Big shout out to the crew behind the scene. This show would not be possible without you guys. Kendall, it's been a blast. It's been fun.
It's been so much fun, Johan. Make sure to stay up to date on our in-depth coverage of ASU athletics and on our website, infernointelmedia.com, and on our social media at Inferno Intel. We'll be back with all things Sun Devils in January, but until then, from our family at Inferno Intel to yours, we say... say,
Happy holidays!